Have you ever heard of a place on Earth where ships and planes seem to vanish into thin air? A mysterious, watery graveyard that has baffled scientists and sparked countless theories for decades. Today, we're diving deep into one of the world's greatest enigmas, the Bermuda Triangle. So, where exactly is this infamous place? Picture a vast stretch of the North Atlantic Ocean. Now, draw a line from the sunny shores of Miami, Florida, down to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Then another line up to the island of Bermuda, and finally, connected back to Miami. This huge, roughly triangular area, also known as the Devil's Triangle, covers about 500,000 square miles of open ocean. It's a region known for its unpredictable weather, deep ocean trenches, and a strong, swift current called the Gulf Stream. But is there something more sinister lurking beneath the waves? The legend of the Bermuda Triangle didn't just appear overnight. In fact, strange reports from this area go back centuries. Even Christopher Columbus, on his first voyage to the New World in 1492, noted some very odd things. He wrote in his log about a great flame of fire crashing into the sea and his compass acting was pointing away from the North Star. Was this an early sign of the triangle's mysterious power, or just the observations of a sailor in unfamiliar waters? For hundreds of years, these were just isolated incidents, ghost stories told by sailors. The area wasn't yet known as the Bermuda Triangle. That all changed in the 20th century. The first disappearance to really capture the public's imagination was the USS Cyclops. In March 1918, this massive U.S. Navy cargo ship, over 540 feet long, set sail from Brazil, heading for Baltimore. It was carrying more than 10,000 tons of manganese, or anhyd, 306 crew and passengers on board. After a stop in Barbados, the Cyclops sailed into the area we now call the Triangle, and was never seen or heard from again. No SOS was ever received. No wreckage was ever found. It was the single largest loss of life in U.S. naval history not involving combat. An investigation concluded they had no idea what happened. The ship just vanished. But the story that truly cemented the Bermuda Triangle in legend is the disappearance of Flight 19. December 5th, 1945. Just a few months after World War II ended, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was a routine training mission. A simple 2-hour flight over the ocean. The pilots were experienced, the planes were in good condition, and the weather was clear. But about an hour and a half into the flight, something went terribly wrong. The flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, radioed in. His voice was confused, disoriented. He said both of his compasses were malfunctioning. He couldn't tell which way was west. He thought they were over the Florida Keys, but the control tower knew they were far out over the Atlantic. Over the next few hours, radio operators listened helplessly as the pilots of Flight 19 grew more and more lost. Their transmissions became frantic, talking about strange weather, white water, and the ocean not looking as it should. Their last message was garbled and faint. And then, silence. The Navy immediately launched one of the largest air and sea searches in history. And this is where the mystery deepens. A Martin Mariner flying boat, a massive search plane with a 13-person crew, was sent out to look for Flight 19. It was known as the flying gas tank because of how much fuel it carried. Just 23 minutes after takeoff, the Mariner also disappeared from radar. A ship in the area reported seeing a huge explosion in the sky at the exact time and location the plane vanished. But despite a massive search that covered over 300,000 square miles of ocean, not a single piece of wreckage from Flight 19 or the Martin Mariner was ever found. 14 men on Flight 19, 13 on the search plane, all gone without a trace. It was this incident, the loss of 6 planes and 27 men in a single afternoon, that truly gave birth to the legend. But where did the name Bermuda Triangle come from? It was first coined in 1964 by an author named Vincent Gaddis. He wrote an article for a magazine titled The Deadly Bermuda Triangle, linking the disappearance of Flight 19 with the USS Cyclops and other strange vanishings in the region. The name stuck. Suddenly, all these separate, unexplained incidents were connected, woven together into a single, terrifying narrative. Over the years, the list of so-called victims of the Triangle grew. Books and documentaries added more stories. There was the Star Tiger, a British passenger plane that vanished in 1948 with 31 people on board. Its last message was perfectly normal. A year later, its sister plane, the Star Ariel, also disappeared in the same area with 20 people. Again, no distress call, no wreckage. Then there's the KC-135, two huge U.S. Air Force planes that reportedly collided and vanished in 1963. And the SSL Pharaoh, a cargo ship that sank during a hurricane in 2015, taking all 33 crew members with it. Each story added another layer to the myth. Was it aliens abducting people for study? A time warp? Or a portal to another dimension? Maybe strange magnetic fields from the lost city of Atlantis, pulling planes from the sky. These were the theories that fired up our imaginations. The idea that there is a part of our own planet that defies the laws of physics is both terrifying and thrilling. But as we continue our journey into the mystery, we have to ask, are these stories true? Or is there a more logical, scientific explanation for what's happening in the Devil's Triangle? Next time, we'll separate fact from fiction. We'll look at the scientific theories from rogue waves and methane gas eruptions to simple human error and bad weather. We'll also investigate some of the most famous cases and discover that sometimes the truth behind the disappearance is even more fascinating than the myth. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle is far from solved. Join us as we continue to peel back the layers of this incredible enigma. Have you ever heard of a place on Earth where compasses spin wildly, ships vanish without a trace, and planes disappear from the sky? For decades, one mysterious patch of ocean has haunted our collective imagination, the Bermuda Triangle. But what really turned this area into a global phenomenon? It all started with a few key cases that are as chilling today as they were when they first happened. Let's rewind to December 5th, 1945. World War II had just ended, and a routine training mission was underway. 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers, collectively known as Flight 19, took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 14 experienced airmen were on board, led by a seasoned instructor, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. The weather was clear. The planes were in perfect condition. It should have been a simple 3-hour flight, but it wasn't. A couple of hours into the mission, radio operators on the ground picked up a disturbing transmission. It was Lieutenant Taylor. His voice was laced with confusion. He reported that his compasses were malfunctioning, that he was lost. He couldn't tell which way was west. Everything is wrong. ... Strange. We can't be sure of any direction. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should. Imagine the growing panic in that cockpit. They were flying over an endless expanse of water, with no land in sight, and their most basic navigational tools had failed them. Back at the base, the control tower was in a frenzy. They tried to guide Flight 19 back, but the radio signals became weaker and more garbled. The pilots seemed disoriented, arguing amongst themselves about which way to turn. The last words ever heard from Flight 19 were faint and broken, something about running low on fuel. Then, complete silence. The 5 planes, and the 14 men aboard them, had simply vanished. The Navy immediately launched one of the largest air and sea searches in history. Hundreds of ships and planes scoured over 300,000 square miles of the Atlantic. But the search itself would lead to even more tragedy. A PBM Mariner flying boat, with a crew of 13, was sent out to join the search. It was a massive plane, often called a flying gas tank, due to the amount of fuel it carried. 20 minutes after takeoff, it sent a routine radio check. Then, it too disappeared from radar. Gone. An oil tanker in the area later reported seeing a huge explosion in the sky, a brilliant flash of light, followed by a pillar of fire. The likely explanation was that a fuel vapor leak caused the Mariner to explode midair. But in the context of the day's events, it just added another layer of dread. 13 more men lost, while looking for the first 14. After days of searching, not a single piece of wreckage from Flight 19 was ever found. No life rafts, no oil slicks, not even a scrap of metal. It was as if the 5 planes had flown into another dimension. The official Navy report was equally baffling. They concluded the loss was for causes or reasons unknown. This single event became the cornerstone of the Bermuda Triangle legend. How could 5 military planes, with experienced crews, just disappear in good weather? But Flight 19 wasn't the first mysterious disappearance in these waters. Go back even further, to 1918. The USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier ship, over 540 feet long, was sailing from Barbados to Baltimore. It was carrying over 10,000 tons of manganese ore and 306 crew and passengers. On March 4th, it vanished. No SOS was ever received. No bad weather was reported in its path. It just disappeared. It remains the single largest loss of life in U.S. naval history not involving combat. The theories were wild. Some said a German submarine got it, but it was wartime, and Germany denied any knowledge. Others whispered of a giant squid or a sea monster. The most popular theory was that the ship, heavily loaded and perhaps structurally weak, simply broke apart and sank instantly, leaving no time for a distress call. But again, with no wreckage ever found, the mystery of the USS Cyclops remains unsolved. A ghost ship sailing forever in the lore of the Triangle. And the incidents just keep piling up. In 1948, a British passenger plane named Star Tiger, with 31 people on board, disappeared while approaching Bermuda. The pilot's last message was completely normal. Just 1 year later, its sister plane, the Star Ariel, vanished in the exact same area under similar circumstances. Again, 20 people gone without a trace. No wreckage, no bodies, no answers. The official investigation report for the Star Tiger concluded with a chilling statement. What happened in this case will never be known, and the fate of Star Tiger must remain an unsolved mystery. Then there's the case of the KC-135 stratotankers. In 1963, these were two enormous U.S. Air Force flying refueling stations. They were flying in formation near Bermuda when they collided and exploded. Now, a mid-air collision is a tragic but explainable event. The truly bizarre part is that the debris field was found spread over 160 miles. Investigators were stunned. The two debris fields were completely separate, suggesting the planes were miles apart when they went down, not in a collision. How could two planes, supposedly flying together, end up crashing so far apart? It's a puzzle that defies simple explanation. We also have the story of the SSL Pharaoh, a cargo ship that sank in 2015 during Hurricane Joaquin. This is a more modern case, and we know a hurricane was involved. But the ship was equipped with modern technology, and its last known position was right on the edge of the triangle. Despite a massive search, it took over a month to locate the wreckage on the ocean floor, nearly 3 miles deep. These are the stories that built the legend. Flight 19, the USS Cyclops, the Star Tiger and Star Ariel. Each one is a chilling tale of sudden, inexplicable loss. For decades, these events were presented as evidence of a paranormal force at work, a vortex to another dimension, alien abductions, or strange energy fields from the lost city of Atlantis. It's easy to see why. When you have so many planes and ships disappearing in one area, without a distress call, and without leaving a single trace, your imagination starts to run wild. These cases captured the public's attention and turned a simple stretch of ocean into the world's most famous mystery zone. But is there more to the story? Are there rational, scientific explanations for these events that have been overlooked in favor of the spooky legends? In our next video, we'll dive into the science, separating facts from fiction and exploring the natural phenomena that could explain the secrets of the Devil's Triangle. So, you've heard the whispers, the chilling tales of ships and planes vanishing without a trace. Now, let us peel back the layers of myth and look at what science has to say about the Bermuda Triangle. Could there be logical, earthly explanations for these disappearances? The answer might surprise you. First, let's talk about the weather. It would be swallowed whole in seconds, leaving no time for a distress call and leaving behind no wreckage. These aren't just sailors. Thales satellites have confirmed that rogue waves are real and far more common than we once thought. Then there's the ocean floor itself. The region is home to some of the deepest oceanic trenches in the world, like the Puerto Rico Trench, which plunges over 27,000 feet. The immense pressure at these depths would crush any vessel into unrecognizable pieces, scattering debris over a vast area. The seafloor in the Bermuda Triangle is rich in methane hydrates, which are essentially frozen pockets of methane gas. If the water temperature rises, even slightly, these hydrates can destabilize and erupt, releasing a massive bubble of gas. It would happen so fast, the crew would have no idea what was happening. Poof, gone. And what about the planes? What makes them fall from the sky? Here's where it gets even stranger. Some theories point to something called air bombs, or much. It's like hitting an invisible pothole in the sky, but one that can send you into a deadly spiral. For centuries, sailors reported their compasses going haywire in this region. Is it some supernatural force? Not necessarily. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align. A few degrees off course over hundreds of miles can send you far from your intended destination, into open, unforgiving ocean. Combine that with a sudden storm, and you have a recipe for disaster. Add to this the possibility of magnetic anomalies on the seafloor, large deposits of iron ore that could temporarily interfere with magnetic compasses, and you can see how easily a vessel could get lost. But okay, let's be honest. The scientific explanations are compelling, but they don't have that same spine-tingling thrill as the supernatural ones, do they? So let's venture into the Twilight Zone and explore the theories that defy our understanding of reality. One of the most enduring and popular theories is that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal, a time warp, or a gateway to another dimension. Proponents of this idea suggest that the disappearances aren't crashes or sinkings, but abductions. Planes and ships aren't destroyed. They're simply transported. Where to? Another time. Another universe. No one knows. Eyewitness accounts, though often unverified, sometimes speak of strange fogs, swirling green mists, or electronic fogs that engulf a vessel right before it vanishes. Pilots have reported their instruments failing, time skipping forward or backward, and a sense of disorder, as if the very fabric of space and time was being twisted around them. Then there's the lost city of Atlantis. This is a big one. Some believe that the mythical city of Atlantis was located near the Bimini coast, right in the heart of the Bermuda Triangle. The theory goes that the Atlanteans possessed an advanced energy technology, possibly using powerful crystals to power their civilization. After the city sank beneath the waves, these energy crystals, still active on the ocean floor, are what's causing the problem. They supposedly emit powerful energy rays, or magnetic vortexes, that interfere with modern technology, pulling ships and planes from the sky and sea. According to this theory, the aliens are systematically abducting humans, ships. Reports of UFOs and unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, are common in the region, adding fuel to this extraterrestrial fire. Could a combination of these strange phenomena be at play? Perhaps a government conspiracy is at work. Some theories propose the existence of a top-secret underwater research facility, maybe a cousin to Area 51, known as a DT, or the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center. The government, of course, would cover up any such incidents to protect its secrets. From rogue waves and methane eruptions to time warps and alien collectors, the Bermuda Triangle offers a buffet of explanations, each more fantastic than the last. Science provides plausible, if less dramatic, answers. But the mystery, the idea that something truly unknown and powerful lurks in those waters, is what keeps us coming back. What do you think? Are these disappearances the result of a perfect storm of natural events? Or is there a darker, more paranormal force at work in the Devil's Triangle? For over a century, the Bermuda Triangle has been a graveyard for ships and planes. But what's happening in this infamous stretch of ocean today? Has modern technology finally solved its mysteries? Or is the triangle still claiming victims? Let's find out. In the past, when a vessel disappeared, that was often the end of the story. No wreckage, no survivors, just a lingering question mark. But today, we live in a world of constant surveillance. Satellites crisscross the globe, GPS tracks our every move, and advanced sonar can map the deepest parts of the ocean floor. So, has all this tech made the Bermuda Triangle safe? Well, yes and no. The number of unexplained disappearances has certainly dropped. When incidents do occur, we're much better at finding out what happened. Take the case of the SSL Pharaoh, a cargo ship that sank in 2015 during Hurricane Joaquin. It went down right in the heart of the triangle. In the old days, it might have become another legend. But this time investigators located the wreckage nearly 15,000 feet deep. They recovered the voyage data recorder, which revealed a heartbreaking story of a brave crew fighting a losing battle against a monster storm. No supernatural forces, just the raw, terrifying power of nature. Modern investigations have also debunked many of the classic tales. For example, some researchers now believe that the group of Navy bombers that vanished in 1945, may have simply run out of fuel after getting hopelessly lost. Their compasses probably weren't malfunctioning due to some strange magnetic anomaly. It's more likely the lead pilot, who had a history of getting disoriented, made a critical error. The rescue plane sent after them. It was a model known as the flying gas tank, notorious for exploding in midair. A tragic accident, not a paranormal event. Then there's the science. Scientists have proposed all sorts of natural explanations for the triangle's reputation. One of the most popular theories involves rogue waves. These aren't your typical storm waves. They're colossal walls of water, sometimes reaching over 100 feet high, that can appear out of nowhere, even in calm seas. A wave like that could swallow a large ship whole, leaving no trace. Satellite data has confirmed that these waves are far more common than we once thought, and the turbulent waters where the Gulf Stream meets the Atlantic are a perfect breeding ground for them. Another fascinating theory involves methane hydrates. The seabed in this region is rich with frozen pockets of methane gas. If a sudden change in pressure or temperature were to cause one of these pockets to rupture, it would release a massive plume of gas bubbles. This would instantly lower the density of the water above. A ship sailing over this spot would lose buoyancy and sink like a stone, straight to the bottom. It could happen so fast, there would be no time to send a distress call. While this has been demonstrated in labs, we haven't yet definitively linked a real-world disappearance to a methane blowout, but it remains a chilling possibility. So, with all these logical explanations, why are we still so obsessed with the Bermuda Triangle? For one, there are still stories that defy easy answers. And then there are the survivors. People who have had terrifying experiences in the Triangle and live to tell the tale. One of the most famous is pilot Bruce Gernon. In 1970, he was flying his small plane from the Bahamas to Florida with his father and a business partner. He describes flying into a strange, tunnel-shaped cloud that seemed to be rotating. His instruments went haywire. His compass spun wildly, and he felt a strange sensation of weightlessness. When he finally emerged from the cloud, he found himself over Miami Beach, having covered a distance that should have taken over an hour and a half in just 47 minutes. He couldn't account for the missing time or the incredible speed. He called this phenomenon electronic fog and believes it's a natural but extremely rare and dangerous weather event unique to the area. Skeptics argue he was simply disoriented in a thunderstorm, but Gernon has stuck to his story for over 50 years. Even today, mariners report strange happenings. Seasoned sailors speak of sudden, freak storms materializing on a clear day, of compasses and GPS systems failing without warning, and of an unsettling feeling that the sea itself is somehow different here. Are these just tall tales shared over drinks at the port, or is there something more to it? The sheer volume of anecdotal evidence is hard to completely dismiss. Perhaps the biggest reason the mystery endures is that the Bermuda Triangle taps into our deepest fears. Fear of the unknown, fear of nature's power, and the fear of simply vanishing without a trace. It represents a place on our highly mapped, well-understood planet where the rules don't seem to apply. In an age where every corner of the globe is on Google Earth, the idea that a place exists where you can just disappear is both terrifying and strangely alluring. The ocean is a vast and unforgiving wilderness. We've explored more of the surface of the moon than we have of our own ocean floor. The Bermuda Triangle, with its powerful currents, volatile weather, and extreme depths, is one of its wildest frontiers. Even with our best technology, it still holds secrets. So, is the Bermuda Triangle a paranormal vortex, a gateway to another dimension? Probably not. Is it a uniquely dangerous piece of ocean where a perfect storm of natural phenomena can create deadly conditions in the blink of an eye? Almost certainly. The legend is a blend of fact, fiction, and our own fascination with the unexplained. The mystery isn't just about lost ships. It's about the humbling realization that despite all our progress, we are still small specks at the mercy of a planet that is far more powerful and mysterious than we can ever fully comprehend. The Bermuda Triangle isn't just a place on a map. It's a state of mind, a reminder that some mysteries are meant to endure.